We are live. Hello, everyone. It is Miss Kathy here, and I'm excited to have another episode of Real Talk. And today, my guest is. We are live. Hello, everyone. That happens every time. Hold on a minute. I'm going to get that right one of these days. I swear that's going to be my new intro. Miss Kathy talking to herself. Okay. You ready? What should I do it again? Take two.
Do it again.
Today, my guest is Donna Shaw, and she is a mother of 3 boys, same as me. I did have a daughter later, but Donna and I can't wait to visit and be together. I'm welcoming her into my home, and we are going to get chatty today about parenting and letting go. Donna and I were just talking, and we were just both realizing that together, when we do let go of our adult children, we realize how much easier it is to actually hold on to them. And that's my goal today, to inspire and encourage other parents that haven't gone through that, or maybe just going through that, or even have gone through it and want to come and chat with us too about your experiences. But that's what today is all about, just sharing each other's experiences from parenting and letting go. So Donna, thank you for coming.
Thank you for having me. It is my honor to be here with you, Miss Kathy.
Donna, tell me a little bit about your parenting, just from having boys per se. Can you just tell me, first tell me, the ages of your sons. And I know I'm very sorry. I do want to say and let everyone know in the beginning here that Donna did lose a child. So that is something that I can't speak on. But the grief of a child, if there is anyone here today or who will be watching in the future, I do hope you find inspiration and encouragement from Donna, because I'm sure she will touch on that as well. But Donna, go ahead. You have 3 children.
I had 3 boys in 4 years. Okay. I was on a merry-go-round, So my oldest will be, let's see, I have to add it up. My goodness, he's going to be 37 this year. And if Corey was still alive, he would have been 35, but he left this world at 31. And Rant Jams, my youngest, everybody knows Rant Jams. He's going to be 33 in August. So those are my 3 boys, and I love and adore them, and I always will. And it's one of those things, it's really hard, because when they're young, you can correct them. You can control certain things. When they get older, you just have to respect their wishes, respect their ideas, whether you agree with them or not. You have to become a friend as well as a mother. It's a very different role that you have to adjust to.
Yeah, definitely. I think it's fun that you and I both had 3 boys. So I love that we have that in common. Let me address some of the chat real quick and just welcome them. Leah from Ability of Mom of 2 Vlogs is here. Thank you. And you do have a wrench. So I love you so much for coming to these, and you've been so good. Let me know if, if something happens, or if you don't mind watching the chat. I totally appreciate that. Big boy Johnny, 25. My oldest is 20, going to be 25 soon, and his name is Johnny. So I don't know if your 25 is your age, but I can relate to a 25-year-old Johnny. He says, can I ask you a question, please? Of course you can. If you do have questions in the chat, it would be helpful if you tag Donna or I so that we can see it. And Trey's Creation is here. Trey is a ventriloquist. And I'm always happy to mingle and interact with Trey too. Welcome. What is your question, big boy Johnny 25? While we're waiting for that question, I will tell you the ages of my children. My oldest, he goes by John, and he'll always be Johnny to me. And he is going to be 25 in May. My second oldest is Matthew, and he is 22. He's newly married. And Michael is going to be 20 in May. My third and first boy have the same birthday, 5 years apart.
Really?
Yeah. Fun fact.
No.
But Yeah, yours are a little bit older than mine, but I'm sure Power Rangers probably was still in effect around that time, and I'm sure everything that they had turned into a weapon.
Yeah, my oldest still watches Power Rangers. I just,
Yeah,
he's going to be 37 this year.
yeah.
And he's still into Power Rangers.
There we go. Big Power Rangers fans in these families too. I think everything that is anything that looks similar to something is some kind of morphing weapon. Faith is here. Hello from Faith in the Fallon. Welcome to having yes. Well, that did not even come out right. My brain sometimes does not work. So, what was your first experience as having to let go, to really feel like you had to let go? Do you know when that really hit you as a mom?
Oh, yeah. It's the fact that I had 3 kids in 4 years, it was, like I'm on this, like I said, like a roller coaster, a merry-go-round, I'm just busy, busy, busy. And all of a sudden, when you have kids that close together, they also leave very quickly. It's just like boom, boom, boom. You've had this full house. And then all of a sudden, you get the empty nest syndrome. And what was bad too is I had a hysterectomy right about that same time. And so then you go through all those emotional changes on top of it. What happened was Rant Jams, which is my youngest, when he was 19, he went to Wyoming and stayed with his biological father for 2 years because he wanted to get to know him a little better. And that like to killed me. I mean, I knew he had to do it as a man, he needed to know that. But he was so far away. He was like 17 hours away from me. And he would come home, maybe once or twice a year, and we'd have this big shindig. But even after all my kids, one by one left the house, I still managed to, they're friends. Okay. I'm a mothering kind of person. So their friends still clung to me and they would come over. I even had a friend of Rant Jams that crawled through my window in the middle of the night because he was upset and wanted to see me and couldn't get in the house. I was sleeping. So I wake up to this person on my couch and I had a frying pan. I was about ready to cold cock with him because I didn't know who he was. Thank God I didn't hit him with it,
Oh, wow.
But, I've had a lot of kids in my life besides my own children. And I that is such a shock for all the young parents out there that, well, they're not, when your kids get that age, college age and those kinds of ages, a lot of times conflict really begins because that's a natural way of being able to, go your separate way to make it a little easier. And, psychologically, we know that's true. And it's hard, it's hard because I think it's hard on both the parents and the child when we go through that separation thing.
Yeah, definitely. College, I tried my best. I'm very grateful for the mother that I had, and she was a great role model to me. But I always wanted to be a mother. I knew it. I mean, when people would say, what do you want to be when you grow up? And we were, from early ages, I always said I want to be a mom. And it wasn't until probably about 5 or 6 years ago that I realized that I don't have to just be a mom to my own. It doesn't have to be your birth child. When
Right.
you feel that you really have that calling in that role, you can be a mom to anyone, because there are some people that can't, relate or be with their birth mothers. We all need a mom.
I still need a mom, and I'm going to be 56 years old this year, and I sometimes still be mothered myself.
Yeah. We all need that one person that we can count on no matter what, unconditionally. We have, as humans, have to interact with another human. It doesn't always have to be the woman who gave us birth, though. But I'm really fortunate that it's still my birth mother. I realize that no matter what, if there's something I need to talk about or ask or just get encouragement from, it's my mom. And I know that I need that so much. And so I use that as a source to help others. And I think that's why my motherhood comes out so much to other people I interact with. I want them to know that I'm here. And it's it's my way of letting go. Because every time I let go of someone, I feel like it's so much easier to hold on to them. Do you feel that way too? Does that make sense?
It makes a lot of sense. You know, I'm going through a little bit of a conflict with my oldest boy right now. And I don't mind sharing that. I'm very honest and open, you know, on YouTube. I've always been since I came here, because life's too short to be anything but. And, you know, my oldest boy, he sometimes, for me, you get into the spirituality thing, because like Rant Jams, he knows the Lord, and I'm thankful for that. My middle son, 2 weeks before he passed, he accepted Jesus, and I'm thankful for that. My oldest boy makes fun of me and calls me the church lady.
Oh my gosh.
Oh,
the church lady from Saturday Night Live?
The church lady from Saturday Night Live. Yeah, isn't that special kind of thing?
You know, I used to be nicknamed that when I was little because of my first communion picture. I grew up Catholic, and I had gangly glasses and this huge veil, and I looked just like the church lady in my first communion picture.
I can't imagine that at all, Miss Kathy.
Oh, I did. Trust me. Hey, Patsy's here. There's some more people here. We have Eye Candy. If it's Fritz, it bakes. Hello. And it's Brandy. And Bud is here. I never did get a question from the Johnny, though. So if you'll have to pop it up again if you did come back. We had someone that wanted to ask a question. But, okay, so your oldest boy makes fun of you. In what way? And hi, Rick. Sorry, one more time.
Well,
Sea Otter just came in. I'll never let go. I will lock my daughter in the basement when she's 18. Listen to our wise words, Rick. Go ahead, Donna.
Okay, I got excited listening to what she was saying and thinking about it. What was your question, Kathy? I'm sorry, I got tickled.
Well, you were getting ready to tell us about your son, and you went into spirituality, but you were talking about your son who doesn't accept the same path, and he makes fun of you.
He makes fun of me, yeah, and he's really touchy, you know, and I don't preach at him or anything. That's what's funny about it. He just knows who I am. He knows what I stand for. And, you know, I never preach at him. I don't. When your kids become adults, you know, they're going to do things that you're not going to approve of, and they're going to make choices that you might not agree with, but you have to respect those whether you agree with them or not. But my oldest son, you know, he gets a little touchy, you know. He gets a little touchy. Let me explain. I'll tell you my most recent thing of events for anybody out there. Like I said, I'm an open book. I don't mind sharing. You know, recently I did a video called Shadows, a song that I wrote. It's an original song. About my grief when I lost my son, Corey. And I put, you know, all these pictures of my son on the video from the time he was born till the end. And
I saw it. It was beautiful.
Thank you very much. And it's only like a little over 2 minutes. It's not.
You wrote the song too, right?
Yes, I wrote the song. And I shared it with him, you know, messaged him and said, you know, I did this video for, you know, Corey. And knowing that's his brother, you know, I thought, you know, that's no big deal. And I get a message back from him about 2 days later telling me that he's been busy. He hasn't had time. And, you know, here I am and I'm thinking, okay, it's a 2-minute video. You haven't had time. You can watch it when you're going to the bathroom. How could you not have time to watch it? So what I said to him is, you've got to be kidding me. You know, this is all on Messenger, of course. I said, you've got to be kidding me. It's a 2-minute video. And he turned that around as me being condescending. And I myself did not see how that was condescending at all. And, you know, here's the thing is my kids have all been entertainers. They're songwriters. They're, you know, they're all entertainers. I don't know where they get it from, but they're all entertainers. And I have always supported, you know, like when they've done a video or they've written something, I've always encouraged that and supported that. And, you know, I guess I expect the same thing back, you know, but don't always get it. I do from Rant Jams. I have to say that Rant Jams is an excellent son, and he loves his mom and he supports me. And I've only seen him once since June of last year for just briefly, a couple hours, because we live 4 hours away from each other. So a lot of our interaction is here on social media. You know, everybody else see me on his show, or a lot of times when I go live, he'll be there, and people might think, my goodness, they're always, well, we don't see each other, you know, so it's kind of neat that we can do it on social media to a degree. We can do it this way. But he, you know, he's been very supportive of me. My son Corey was always very supportive of me, always encouraged me in music and all the things that I've done. And my oldest boy, he graduated from college with a film degree. Okay. So I don't know how to explain it. When you get a bunch of creative people together, sometimes people can be touchy. You know, like that's why it's hard to keep a band together. You know, I've played in bands all my life, and you know, to me, it's about the music, and people get touchy. You know, you might say to a bass player, hey, can you put a little more bass in this right here? Well, I thought I did it good. And I thought, you know, the people get real defensive. I think creative people sometimes get that way. They get touchy. And my oldest boy, well, he's a little touchy. But, you know, it really hurt my feelings that he didn't have that 2 minutes for the video. And next thing I know, you know, he's calling me the church lady. And he actually blocked me from all his media. I couldn't call him right now if my husband died. He blocked me from everything. And it was all because I said, you have to be kidding me. You don't have 2 minutes. And these are the kinds of things, the reason I'm sharing this, and it's very painful, but the reason I'm sharing it is because when our kids grow up, sometimes things like this happen. You know, I'm not the only one. You know, I think kids, you know, I don't know. I praised all my kids from all the time. I told them I loved them every day. I hugged them all the time. I couldn't have tried any harder. Did I make mistakes? Of course I did. I'm a mother. A lot of things you see, you know, later after your kids are growing, you think, oh man, I wish I'd have done that, or I should have said this, and you realize that. And you can't change it. You can't take it back. We just have to accept that we're human. There's no perfect children. There's no perfect parent. And, you know, that's right now what I have to do. We're talking about letting go. As painful as this is, I have to let my son be and just leave him alone for a while. Trust God that he's going to come around. And, you know, that's what I have to do. And it's hard, especially, you know, when you've lost a child, because, you know, when my son passed away, we had no warning. It wasn't like he got sick and we had warning. There was no warning. He died from a seizure that lasted 30 seconds and he was gone.
Wow.
And once you've experienced something like that, you have a tendency to cleave even more to your children. Okay. So, you know, we're getting into this, you know, why?
Is it possible that your oldest this is his way of grieving that loss as well of his younger brother?
I'd like to think so, but I don't think so, but I'd like to think so. So for my own sanity right now, I'm going to say, yeah.
Yeah.
You know, I'm going to say, yeah, but you know, he did a video for the funeral. You know how you got all these family photos and you put them together and everything. And he broke down really hard when he did that. And, but other than that, you know, he's like, Mom, there's nothing I can do about it. I deal with it. I think that he has a hard time understanding that I'm not the same person as I was 3 years ago, because I'm still learning to live with this grief. So I've always been a very positive, you know, joking, loving type of bubbly. I'm kind of bubbly, you know, that's my personality. But the last 3 years, I'm not always bubbly, you know, and I have a tendency to talk to him. My oldest boy, you know, I want real conversation. You know, when I talk to my kids now, it's not, how's the weather? You know,
Right.
to me, that's a waste of my time. How's the weather? I want to have real engaging conversation. And sometimes, you know, people, I guess, aren't always ready for that kind of conversation. Now, Rant Jams he loves that. If you give him something to really think about or talk about, well, you're going to talk to him for hours, you know. But my oldest boy kind of hides his grief behind humor. And I don't think he really wants to, you know, have some of those engaging conversations. I think it's hard for him to deal with his mother's grief. And, You know, it's just a complicated puzzle. Our family did not handle this death properly. We didn't get together as a family and really grieve and talk about it. You know, it was like hush hush. You know, everybody thought they had to be strong for me.
Yeah.
And that left.
It's still a very short time period. 3 years is still very soon.
Yeah, it's still very soon. For the first year, I was like in shock. I functioned, but I don't really know how. And I remember very little of the first year. And the second year became more acceptance.
Right.
And, you know, and now, you know, it's just that reality. For some reason, the anniversary of his death was actually the 27th of February, and I found him on the 29th. So that would be March 1st, you know, if it wasn't leap year. And for some reason this year, it really hit me harder. I guess I'm realizing how permanent, you know, that is.
Yeah.
And
it may have hit you harder this time because now you're strong enough to actually receive it.
I think
you're ready to go through it and get through the letting go, maybe. And so that's why this is a time where it's really hard. I can't speak to the loss of a close loved one like that, especially a child, but I have mentored people through grief. And I know that that third or fourth year sometimes is the toughest because it is the turning point. So
yeah, you realize they're not coming back. You realize you're not going to wake up from this nightmare, that it's real. Yeah. And Colorado Martini asked me in the chat if Rant Jams was my oldest one. No, Rant Jams is my baby.
Yeah, why don't you go ahead and, for those who just entered in, go through the one you were speaking of your oldest with the conflict. Your middle child is the one that you lost, and Rant Jams is your youngest.
Yes, and my middle child, too. Like I said, I mothered him for 31 years. He had a mental disability. He was a genius, though, smart as a whip. But he would call me 10 times a day. We had a special connection. I could get up at 2 in the morning, Kathy, to use the bathroom. The phone would ring. I'd answer it. It would be Corey, which is my middle son. He'd say, Mom, are you up? I'd be like, how in the world do you know I'm up? I just got up to go to the bath. I don't know, Mom. I just knew you were up. And we just had that connection, you know. And me and Rant Jams have a special connection, you know, like even if we don't talk, we just kind of know what's going on with each other. Yeah. But my oldest boy, for some reason, he seems, he doesn't have that spiritual connection with God. And I think that, you know, if you're not walking in that and your mother is, well, then, you know, I think he kind of labels me and puts me on that, you know, back up, Mom, back, you know what I mean? He relates it so closely together. But I believe that he'll come around because I dedicated my kids to the Lord way before they were born. I taught them in God. And the Bible says when you teach them when they're small, when they grow old, they will not depart from it. Yeah. And I claim that word.
You know, I don't know why this thought is coming into my head right now. And maybe it is something that you are supposed to hear or someone else in the chat. But I'm thinking to myself right now, it's difficult because I don't know what that would be like for a mother and a child relationship. But I know as a Christian what it is like. And when I friend or love someone who's not walking the same path as me, I find that accepting it brings them closer to me. And instead of encouraging and expecting them to be like me, pushes them away.
Well, exactly, Kathy. That's so wise because, see, my middle son and I, we would argue because he got hurt by church people. And he put that, you know, a lot of times people get hurt by church people because they go to church and they expect the church to be perfect when they're made out of imperfect people. So that's not going to happen. But he had a really bad experience and it was bad. And,
you know, you said that the words when you said, I think you said, are you serious? Are you kidding? You were talking about the video that you wanted him to watch.
Yeah.
So perhaps, I don't know, but perhaps that statement hit him as you were expecting something of him. And so maybe you shouldn't expect him to watch it.
Well, I don't know.
Maybe that was his trigger, you know, of like, well, here she is expecting something of me again, and she can't believe that I'm not going to do it. You know, I don't know.
I've seen my oldest boy 3 times in the past year, so I expect very little from him. I do not bother him, and I love him to death. And going back to what we were talking about the spirituality thing. My son Corey and I, okay, after he got hurt by church people, he kind of went more the new age type of way of thinking. And, he'd want to argue with me religion all the time. And I didn't want to talk about it. I didn't want to argue it. And he just constantly did. And I think he was trying to validate his own beliefs. And so finally, like a year before he died, which like I said, we had no idea. I told him, I said, Corey, I love you. I've taught you truth. We can talk about this if we come together on commonality, things that we do both have in common. But I'm not going to debate religion with you. I'm not going to do that anymore. Right. I just want to love you and whatever, whatever.
Yeah.
And I think that kind of freed him up a little bit because he realized I wasn't going to play that debate. And then about 2 weeks, I'm telling you, 2 weeks before he died, like I said, we had no idea that he was sick, nothing. Me and Dennis were over there, and he looked at me. He said, Mom, I want you to know something. I said, what's that? He said, I accepted Jesus. He said, I'm not that crazy. And, very calmly, and believe me, I wanted to do a cartwheel. I wanted to shout hallelujah. I wanted to do, everything, but I didn't. I knew better. And very calmly, I went over to him and I just grabbed his hand and I said, Corey, I'm really glad you did that. Thanks for letting me know.
Aww.
And when me and Dennis got out in the car, we shouted hallelujah, praise God. I'm surprised people didn't hear us all the way down the street. But, I didn't do that because, see, that's another way. You have to be so careful, like that's why I don't preach at my oldest boy,
I don't know if I could have held it in.
It was hard. But
I wonder, I don't see, I guess I see it differently. If I hear somebody that comes to Jesus, I would do the cartwheels.
Well, I did, just not in front of him.
Yeah.
Because I didn't, the whole conflict that we had, if I had done that, it might have pushed him back the other way. So I wanted to be very careful that I was just very accepting, very adult-like about it, kind of cool, and that's good. But oh man, yes, I did. And I was so thankful that after he left this world that he told me, because, he might not have even told me. It could have been something that he did and just didn't mention it. But I thank God that he did, because I know he's waiting on me and I know I'm going to see him again. And I'm sure he's busier than he's ever been in his life. I'm sure God's got him busy working overtime. But, my oldest boy, Travis, I'm really, praying and trusting. And, sometimes we are misunderstood by our children. And I'm sure, Kathy, you've probably gone through that.
Oh, yeah. My oldest and I argued all the time. And the only reason we don't anymore is because I just shut up and listen. I've just decided that I don't have his answers, but I love every opportunity he has that he wants to fill me in on anything going on in his life. And that's the only thing that I can encourage other parents who want to get to the point where they need to let their children go. And it's new for me. He's 24, going on 25 in May. He's military, which is new for me too, as being an Army mom. And he's extremely intelligent. So he always has an answer, and he is always right about everything. And most of the time he is right, but even if he's not, I just decide that it's okay to not let him know what I think.
I can relate to that. Having Rant Gems as a son, I can totally relate to that. And 99% of the time, I believe he's right. I don't always agree with the way he handles certain things, but I think that too. I think that he went through a lot. Him and his brother were very close. The one that left the world. And I think that, he went through a little bit of a, like I did, a little meltdown. And a lot of things were coming at him all at the same time. And so I can understand that. as this baby gets closer, he's getting ready to have this, you know, baby. I'm going to be a grandma. I'm excited.
That's right. And that's really soon, correct? You're going to have a granddaughter. So a mom of 3 boys is finally going to be able to have a girl in her life.
I can see that it's making him a better person. You know, I can see that it's mellowing him out, and he's really looking forward to being a father. Lowe's girl, which is the mother of the baby, I couldn't love her more. I actually loved her before Rant Jams did. You know, I actually met with her before Rant Jams did. So it's kind of funny. And I never dreamed that that was going to be the mother of my grandchild. I mean, that was like the farthest thing. I just loved her. I met her. We met halfway. You know, we kind of just hit it off on YouTube, and we'd laugh and just have it. I just loved her. It was like, oh man, this is like the daughter I never had. And I always called her.
I didn't realize that story.
Yeah.
So Law's girl and you met on YouTube?
Yes.
And then Rant Jams met Law's girl? I didn't know that.
Yes. And
oh wow.
Yes. It was something else, because like I was calling her my adoptive daughter, you know, and like I said, I just clicked with her. It was like I always knew her. And, you know, it's just so funny that she's going to be the mother of my grandbaby, because if I could pick any woman in the whole world, anybody, to be the mother of my granddaughter, it would have been her.
Oh, wow. That's really cool. I didn't know that story.
Yeah. Yeah. And, you know, and it was one of those things too, where I don't want to get too much into his personal business, but you know, it caused a lot of stuff, you know, in the family drama of things. It caused a lot of stuff. And when
that's something I can't relate to, is having family members on my social media. My boys want nothing to do with my YouTube, my vlogging, zilch. And I have to respect that. And that's why it's very hard for me to want to vlog and want to talk and not associate my kids' lives. My oldest really had a hard time with that. You know, talk about videos and making videos for your children. I made a slideshow, which is on this channel, of all of my children, and my oldest still has yet to see his.
Okay.
And it did hurt my feelings when he didn't want to see it. But I had to accept that maybe he wasn't ready to see how his mother saw him. So I don't know if he'll ever see it. But, you know, it did. I can understand you wanting your child to see something. Heck, I make a video, a story, a 3-minute story, and I can't even wait for my own husband to watch it, and he will watch it, you know? And I'm like, it's 3 minutes long. Come on. So, no, I get it. I get that little hurt of, I can't believe they can't watch this. But we got to let that go. We have to just realize that some people are just not interested in the same thing that we're interested in, right?
That's right. I want to explain a little bit how that got intertwined when you're talking about how we're both on social media, you know, fairly big channels and the whole thing.
Yeah.
How that all kind of happened, because I've been on YouTube since 2012. I started YouTube because my oldest boy did a wonderful video for me, a song that I wrote for my kids when they were 1, 3, and 5, called 3 Little Boys, a song that I was able to perform on TV in Nashville, a song that got radio time.
Wait, so you wrote a song?
Yeah, called The 3 Little Boys.
And then, but somebody else put it on YouTube?
No, my oldest boy did a video for me.
Okay.
He made the video. It was a Mother's Day gift. And he made this video, and it warmed my heart so much, because it was like, in the video, you watch him grow up. You know what I mean? It was like old footage I didn't even know was out there. That
is it still on YouTube? I would love to see that.
Yes, it's still on YouTube. It's called The 3 Little Boys. My voice is a lot higher.
Is it on your channel?
It's on my channel, on the Donna Shaw channel. Okay. I have to make the All in Donna Shaw show so I can type in live streams, but it's on the Donna Shaw channel. This is why I came onto YouTube. When he gave me this video, I was so excited. I wanted everybody to see it. So I put it on YouTube thinking, well, you know, other people see it. So I put it there.
I can relate to that.
And then, you know, gradually I started adding more. My oldest boy had a comedy show that was on cable TV called Tito Vision. And both of my other boys were involved in it. Like I said, my children are creators. Just so, I mean, serious creators. So he had this comedy show. It became, it's funny. I don't know how to explain it. It was just kind of a cross between Saturday Night Live and Monty Python.
Oh,
it was very unusual comedy. And I did a few skits for Travis as well. And Travis, I had a song that I wrote called The Mother-in-Law Blues. And Travis also did that video for me. And Rant Jams is also in it. But, you know, then Corey, who didn't have a college education, who was smart as a whip, knew how to run Vegas and everything. I'm like, how do you know that? Well, it's easy, Mom. And, you know, so he started helping me make more videos of other songs that I had done. And I never went live. I never went live on YouTube, not until May of last year. And how all that came about is when Scott started doing Rant Jams. He started bringing joy back to my heart. He'd make me laugh. I mean, I started getting things that I didn't think I could ever find again after the death of Corey. And I just couldn't wait for his show because he would tickle me. And he reminded me a lot of his brother when he's being funny. And he's just wonderful. And so I would start going on his shows. I didn't even know what a live stream really was. And I started going on his shows and meeting people like Miss Kathy.
And for those who are on my, or connected with me on my channel, they're not real, people who watch my show are not real YouTubers. So they probably don't even know, I'm probably confusing them by talking about Rant Jams, but Rant Jams is her son that also has another YouTube channel.
Okay.
So, just to make that clear, because there are probably some of my viewers in the future here, or if they watch it, they'll be like, what is she talking about?
Well, you know, he was showcasing all these songwriters and things, and which I'm all about that. And I got excited. You know, Rant Jams did not even write his first song until December of 2017. So when he wrote his first song, you know, I'm like, whoa, I got real excited because, you know, I'm a songwriter. I see my son writing songs. So it was exciting to me. And like I said, all this joy started coming. And then I thought, well, you know, I can go live. I started going to other people's live streams and meeting people and joking and having a good time. And I thought, well, you know, I can do this. I felt like I was getting family in my life that I desperately needed because most of my family's gone. And so is Dennis's family. So it was just, I started reaching out, making these wonderful friendships and just, you know, was my way of having family. And that's how I got involved in starting to, you know, live stream and that sort of thing. And in the social aspect of YouTube, you know, the live streaming. But that's how me and Scott became very intertwined on YouTube. You know, that's the way that it happened, because all the videos that I had done prior to Scott becoming Rant Jams, I don't think he would watch very often, maybe sometime, you know, but I didn't, you know, just like you're talking about your kids, like they didn't want to watch it or whatever.
Yeah.
But, you know, when you've got 3 songwriters in your family, 3 creators in your family, I think it's quite interesting to watch each other's material. You know, if my son, if Travis, you know, writes a song, I want to hear it. I don't want to wait, you know, 2 days and say I don't have time. That's going to be a priority for me. And I guess that's why it hurt. You know, if Scott comes out with a new video, boy, I'm on it. I want to see it right away. If he goes live, I don't want to miss it, you know. And so it's just one of those kinds of things, you know. Like I said, we live so far away from each other now. We're 4 hours from each other.
Yeah.
So Lowe's girl goes into labor. I told him they better call me quick, because even if I'm in the middle of a live show, I'm an entertainer, I'm going to leave that show. I'm going to put the pedal to the metal. I'm going to get to that grandbaby.
Yeah. Oh, how exciting can that be? I can't imagine. Well, my son just got married in August, so I think they're going to wait a while, but I think that's just going to be an experience I can't even imagine. I mean, I know that people say you love your grandchildren in a so much different way than your own children. Like it's even more, if that's possible. But I know that's going to be so hard for you not to be right by that baby. Oh my goodness.
It's going to be hard to be 4 hours away. And, but, you know, I'm going to get to see the baby, and I'm so thankful for technology today. Like we have these, you know, like right now, I'm like in your living room.
Yes.
You know, so they can, you know, Google Hangout me or something and say, oh, there she is. There she is, you know, and I'm going to get to see her coo and giggle. And you know, I'm not going to get to hold her so much too often, but I already feel like I know her in my heart. So it's funny. We're talking about letting go, and I'm like talking about clinging, because there's some things that you never let go, you know?
Yeah.
And there's some things you have to, and you've got to know what those things are.
Yeah. The one thing what's different, I guess because I don't have the same hobby as my children, like you're saying you're all creators, so it's like a hobby that you all share. The one thing that I have found that I guess through my own experience is I never expected to be my children's friend. I wanted to be their mentor, their advisor, and then after they've become an adult, I wanted to just be their encourager, and that was it. And I think at the turning point of my son and I's relationship, for my oldest, the day that I finally looked at him and said, everything about me you see is negative, and it's actually the opposite of what I ever want our relationship to be. And I looked at him and said, no matter what comes out of my mouth, I hope that you hear it as just encouragement and love. And that's all I want. I don't want to change your life. I don't want to change your direction. I just want to love it. And I just started letting go. And I just started telling myself, don't argue with him. Don't correct him. Don't say what you think is what he's doing, shouldn't be doing, or you wished he did it this way instead. Just encourage him in whatever he's doing. And I found him coming closer and closer and closer. This week, he's called me 3 times to the point where I want to hang up with him because we're not even talking about anything. I'm like, I can let you go now. And I'm just driving. No, it's fine. I'm like, but I don't have anything else to say to you. And so, but I love it. I hang up and I think, wow, I mean, like usually I can't even keep him on the phone, and now I can't get him off the phone.
Well, you know, I feel the exact same way. And what you're telling me, you just shared with your oldest boy. I'm trying to be able to get that through to my oldest boy. But he's got his mind made up. It's a certain way, and that's it. And right now I can't get through to him. So I have to just, I have to give it time and let it be, you know. And as far as hobbies go, for me, it's not a hobby. I've been performing for 41 years. I make a living playing music. So for me, it's not a hobby. It's the real deal. You know, I've got CDs out. I've had a radio time. I've been on TV. I've done a lot of things. So it's not just a hobby for me. So
it's your life.
It's my life. So I take it a lot more seriously than it just being a hobby, you know?
Yeah. Yeah. I can understand that. Yeah. I can understand that. Yeah. But for me, like with my kids, even if it's not a hobby, I guess I don't expect my kids to, wow, what you got there?
You got to show it on your screen there so they can see that. And I want to say, I will not bow to any sponsor.
Okay, there you go.
You see that? I don't think it's, there it is. I will not bow to any sponsor.
There you go. If I click on you, it'll stay on you.
I'm a proud mama. I'm sorry. I just had to do that.
Heck yeah, you should. Now I don't know really how to unclick it. I guess there. Does it switch back and forth? Go ahead and talk and see if it switches.
It should switch back and forth now. You try to get, there it goes, because it's a delay. So what you see will be a delay. Okay.
Let's say hi to the chat real quick. I've kind of missed a few people. I'm so bad about that. I'm going to get better, I promise. Gemma came in and said hello. And I think Michelle Verico is here. And if they're still here, I'm sorry. Rick says, I want another baby, but my wife says no because we have cats. Aww, maybe she'll come around. Your daughter's pretty young, Rick. I hope he's still here. I feel bad that I didn't acknowledge these people as they came in. Underrated Darkness says, good afternoon. And we have Jack Dawson says, hello, Ability Mom, Theater, I supported you and pay it forward and be rewarded. Okay. And Eye Candy, did I say hello to Eye Candy? Angel is here from Nations of Domination. He's such a fun little soul, isn't he? I just love him.
Yeah, he calls me Dazzling Donna, and I call him Dazzling Angel. And Michelle Varico is my YouTube daughter. She's not my biological daughter, but she's one of my kind of adopted. She's a sweetheart.
She says she has a 5-year-old that's already become a smart aleck.
Yeah, once they hit school, they think they know more than you do because they go to school.
That's so true. That is so true. My oldest was so articulate, and he spoke so clearly and was so bright. And then my second boy didn't speak until he was like 3.5.
Okay.
Grunted at everything. I used to, you want your cup? Oh, look, it's a red cup. And then the other one would go, and I'm like, here. I don't know if it was my fault that he didn't speak or not, but it was interesting to see them grow up. And, you know, the second boy. So if you have a boy or a child that's not speaking, don't worry, because he's like bright flight scholar genius kid now. So.
Yeah, I remember freaking out over my oldest not getting potty broke quick enough. And I was like just freaking out. My aunt told me one day when she was still alive, then she said, Donna, I promise he's going to grow out of this. He's not going to pee his pants the rest of his life. He will grow. He'll make it through. He'll be all right. You know.
Yeah. My oldest potty trained my second oldest because they would play, you know, they'd be on Hot Wheels on the floor and stuff. And I would say, Johnny, if you have to go to the bathroom, take Matthew with you, because I figured they were eating together. They were on the same schedule. They might as well pee at the same time. So I would tell him, you know, like, if you feel the urge, I'm sure your brother's got it too. So tell him you got to stop what you're doing and go in there and get done with your business. And it worked for me.
But my middle kid, you know, the one that's gone, he started talking at 1.5 years old. His first word was, Mommy, can I have a cookie? He said a full sentence, and it freaked me out. He was so young, and it just like, did I hear that right? And I did. And he talked the rest of the day. He said anything he wanted to do, and he never stopped talking after that. He taught himself to read when he was 4.
Which one was this?
My middle son.
Oh,
yeah, he taught himself to read when he was 4. Travis was in 1st grade, and he'd come home with, you know, the little books, and you know, he taught himself to read before Travis did, which didn't help Travis. It made him upset. So, you know, there's little things like that happened. And I tried to separate that because I didn't want Travis to feel inferior, because he was of normal intelligence. He was doing good. There was nothing wrong with where he was at. But Corey was an exceptional kid that way. And when you have someone like that in the family, you know, and my kids all being so close in age, you know, it was difficult because I didn't want Travis to feel bad.
So Corey, you said Corey had a disability?
Yes.
Okay.
We didn't know it till he's about, it was actually diagnosed when he was 18.
Oh, a lot later.
Yeah, the problem started showing up in his teenage years. We just didn't know what it was. And his final diagnosis, he was schizoaffective. So if he got stressed out, it brought on schizophrenia symptoms, and it was very frightening, and it was scary.
Oh, yeah, that sounds so scary.
But it was just like that movie, Beautiful Mind. If anybody's ever seen that movie, it's an excellent movie.
It really is.
My son was highly intelligent. They wanted to skip him. He tested out his genius level in the 4th grade. And, you know, it was quite a journey to, for one, accept. It took me a while to accept that he really was schizophrenic, because at the time that he was diagnosed, my father was dying of cancer. And I was taking care of my father. I was the only one he'd allowed to take care of him. And so my plate was already full. You know,
Donna, you have been through so much in your life.
Yes, I have, Kathy, and I'm still standing. Praise God. With the help of God, you know, you can do all things through Christ. But if I didn't have that to lean on, I wouldn't still be here today. No doubt about it.
Wow. Yeah, that's a great testimony. Donna, I read recently that you wrote a book.
Yes, I did, called Broken and Blessed. How God has blessed me through my brokenness. And
I vaguely just heard of this a week or two ago, but is it published now or it's going to be?
it's going to be, it's still in the editing process, and
Okay.
I'm going to have to probably try to raise some funds to get that to happen. I have allowed certain people, I've emailed them the unedited version to
Okay.
get their opinion, to get a little backup, you know, what do you think of this, or, you know, whatever. And so far, everybody, unless they're all lying to me, which I doubt it, have said that they couldn't put it down. Once they started reading it, they couldn't put it down. You know, they'd fall asleep, wake up, and want to keep on reading, you know, as soon as they could keep on reading. So
Is there a way you could self-publish it?
yeah, I probably will, and put it on Amazon, probably much like Angel Domingue has. But I need to still get it edited properly, you know, in case I spelled something wrong. Aren't you a teacher? Hint, hint.
Yeah.
Aren't you a teacher, Kathy?
Oh, I would be happy to read your book and edit it.
Oh, that would be a great help me.
There's also, have you heard of Zach Watson?
No.
His channel is Think Share. He wrote a book and I did a review on his book. It's in my closet here. But he self-published too, and he didn't use an editor. But he prefaced it with that this book is not edited. These are my thoughts. This is what I'm sharing. And let me grab that real quick. Give me just a second.
Yeah. Oh, yeah.
I'm wondering if that might help you. If not, I'm sure that he could, you know, you could go to him and maybe get some thoughts. It's Ideas Over Coffee, but I remember reading something in the very beginning here about how he got this published. I'm probably wasting time here, but you know what? I'm going to look for this and get with you privately on this.
That'll work. That'll work. And I'll send you my book privately as well. And
yeah, I would love that. And I'm going to look for this, or I'll even contact Zach and ask him about this. But I'm pretty sure that, because he even talked about there might be typos in here. There might be, you know, might not be grammar. I'm almost for certain when I read that I will definitely look at that and get with you privately on that and help you out in any way I can.
well, the book that I wrote is even a mother-parent thing, because Corey, that's one of the last things he asked me to do was to write my story. And matter of fact, the last visit that I ever talked with him alive is, you know, he's like, Mom, you really need to do that. And so, you know, it took me 2 years, you know, after he left this world and I started being able to write, I could pour out certain things, you know, because it's all true. It's very honest. It's about my life from my earliest memory to, you know, present time. And I chose stories that I felt God leading me to, you know, share, and why. And it's scary when you open yourself up in such an honest way, you know, because you're just saying, here it is, you know.
I bet that's why this year has been so toiling on you. I have a feeling you're in for a real turning point.
Well, I'm looking forward to that turning point. I'm ready for that point to turn. You know, I've had a lot of crazy things. You know, I found out I was diabetic a few months ago due to neuropathy. I didn't realize that's what it was. You know, I'd been in pain for a while, but, you know, I just figured I'm getting old. I guess that goes with you know, it kind of goes with it. And then one day my feet got so numb, I couldn't feel them. And I was trying to walk and I fell and I broke my feet. And so I ended up 4 days later. This is how I am. 4 days later, I went to ER. Wow. And I realized it wouldn't get no better. I needed to get checked. And so I explained to them that, you know, my feet, they wouldn't lift. My feet wouldn't lift. I had no control over it. And they did my blood and all that. And they come back and told me I was a really bad diabetic. My A1C was 13. You know, just my blood sugar off the roof. And that's another way that, see, God can use everything. And if I am stubborn. If I hadn't have fell, I could have went into a coma, because my blood sugar was like So far, the highest that I know about is about 513. So, you know, it was one of those things. If that hadn't happened, you know, because I was just going, I wasn't going to a doctor. I didn't have any insurance. You know, I was just trying to keep going. And
wow.
so I'm thankful that I fell.
Name?
Pardon me?
What is your husband's name?
His name is Dennis, and in the chat it's Eye Candy. That's
Oh,
my husband.
Candy. Okay, I didn't know that. But bless his heart. I mean, he's your partner in all this too. So, you know, I mean, you have to realize how loved you are to have somebody to also hold your hand while you're going through all this.
Oh, he's more than held my hand. He's held me. I mean, when I fell, I didn't have no wheelchair. I couldn't walk on crutches. I'd break my neck if I tried to walk on crutches. I just not coordinated. And he had to literally pick me up, put me in the car to go do my shows. And we would get there.
In my mind, I want to compare your life to Job's, you know?
Yeah.
When there is hope.
There is hope. And no matter what,
through all of these struggles that you continue to have to be faced with. Oh my goodness. And like what Bud said, it's always darkest before the dawn.
Yes. Yes. And no matter what, you know, I have a happy ending, no matter what. I know the Lord. So I might be going through a bunch right now, but one day, honey, glory, I'm going to be just fine. And I'm actually just fine now because God has miraculously, that's what this book is about. God has miraculously helped me through one struggle after another. And it's hard to explain to somebody, you know.
When did you begin writing this book?
After the death of my son, about, I don't know, about a year after he died.
So only the last couple of years.
Yes, I just finished the book. You know, it ends with me going to have a grandbaby.
Letting go too.
Yes. Yeah. And so it's very painful. I mean, so, and I write stories about when the kids were little, some of our experiences, all kinds of things.
Wow.
And as I'm, when I would write a story, you know, it would just become so vivid that, you know, I'd have to write it and maybe, you know, cry for 2 or 3 days, come back and write another one, you know, as God laid it on my heart.
Wow. That's so inspiring.
Thank you, Kathy. I hope you'll find the book inspiring because I just got a feeling if me and you got to know each other better, we'd be some pretty good friends.
Oh, yeah. I already feel that too. Yeah, definitely. I've loved having you here. I don't know if anyone has had any questions for Donna or myself. I'm trying to look through the chat real quick. Eye Candy says he's your cook now too.
Oh, he's been great. He's just great. I mean, I wouldn't trade him for all the tea in China. And then I'm menopausal on top of it. See, so bless his heart. You know why they call it menopause, don't you, Kathy?
No.
Because it puts men on pause.
Oh. You know, I had a hysterectomy right after Jesse was born. So I lost all of anything to have to do with a female hormone in 2008. So it's been 10 years for me, but I'm still fighting that menopause. I take hormones to stay balanced.
Well, I probably need some. My husband said, yeah, give them to her, you know.
Yeah.
I have my times, yeah.
It's been an expense that we've chosen to afford. I always say I can't afford it, but we've chosen to afford it. So we've had to give up a lot else because of that to keep, I guess, probably to stay married. But, you know, hopefully that's going to balance out on its own eventually. I'm 51, but I probably tried to go through menopause at the age of 40. So it wasn't
me
fun.
too. That's when I had my hysterectomy. And, you know, I keep asking because, you know, I perform for a lot of older people. So I'm always asking, you know, these ladies, how long does it take to get through it? You know, oh, honey, I still have hot flashes, 80 years old. I'm like, oh, no, I don't want to go through it at 80 years old. You know, but there's other things.
Have hot flashes?
Some of them tell me that. And then some of them goes, I never experienced nothing. Well, I think they forgot, you know.
I think they forgot. That's hilarious.
I think they forgot.
Oh, wow. Wow. Yeah, I can't even imagine that.
Yeah. So I don't know. I know there's lots of things that can cause hot flashes, not just the menopausal thing, and I have other health issues that could be a factor.
I think we have so much in common. We could have several different real talk topics because we've already gotten off of our beauty letting go.
Yeah, we need to have one on menopause. That ought to be funny. Get everybody turned in.
Yeah. Well, what I would really like to do is find a topic and do a series of that topic and to get different perspectives from the same topic. I would love to do that because that's what interests me. I love to hear what other people have to say about the topic, not just the one person. So I'm hoping eventually this will catch on and, those who are in the chat will say, hey, I have a story too. And, they'll want to come on. So far that hasn't happened, but we'll see.
Oh, I love your show. I love your show. And I'm sometimes on the road a lot, so I don't always get to catch it live, but I will watch back and I absolutely love it. I love your personality. I love what you're doing. I think you're going to be highly successful on this platform doing this.
I just really hope it encourages people. And that's mainly what I do. It's already encouraging me because, like I said, I love having guests in my home. I love having the interaction and learning from someone else. And it's just been such a joy.
You got that likability factor, you got that personality that people enjoy. You're a beautiful lady. You're intelligent and it shows. And I'm just, you could be the next Oprah.
Oh yeah. my husband probably would hate that. He already, right before we started, am I allowed to come upstairs and get my lunch? I'm like, no. My husband works from home a lot, so he's here, and so it's been difficult. I want to have the live streams during the day, but most of my guests want them to be in the evenings. But then that's when my husband's done working, and so we still have a young one. We still have she turned 11 a few weeks ago. My daughter.
Oh, congratulations! I got to ask you now because you said you had 3 sons and a daughter.
Yeah, Jessie. I have another YouTube channel, and that's the one that's Miss
Yeah,
Jessie.
Matthew and Miss Jess.
I gifted it to Jessie when all the apocalypse stuff started happening last year.
Yeah,
and I haven't been real active on that one because, well, 2 things. She lost interest for a while too, and with all the pedophile stuff going on right now, I've kind of let that channel go to the wayside for a little while and just put it on.
Now, which has been easier? Okay, you had 3 boys and a daughter. See, I've never had the daughter experience, but kind of Lowe's girl's fixing to be, she's kind of my daughter experience. But, I never raised, a daughter. So which was easier? Because I'm getting ready to have a granddaughter and I kind of want to know.
Yeah. I don't think the gender mattered. I think it was easier for Jessie because it was just Jessie.
Oh, yeah.
I think my oldest was the easiest because it was my first. So I having multiple children at the same time is, I think, what is the craziest thing of all of parenting. So I can't really say. I raised Jessica as a boy. Basically, I did. And it's now that she's 11, I'm realizing, oh my God, I have a daughter. What am I doing with her?
Oh, I think it'll happen natural, Kathy. I don't think you got anything to worry about.
Oh, I don't know about that. Girls are mean. It's such a different. It's so different, and it's like a whole new ball game. The light switch just flipped, and I'm realizing that I have no idea what I'm doing. So we'll see. Yeah, I think it was just easier just having the one baby. Honestly, every baby was different, of course. Colicky or not colicky, or very hyper. My third boy was very difficult, but I don't know if he would have been a girl, it would have been any different. He was just like Jekyll and Hyde kind of kid. Before we wrap up, talking about this makes me want to share my memory that popped up on my Facebook today.
Okay.
Because it cracked me up. So I had a photo from our church directory pop up on my Facebook memory. You and I are Facebook friends too. We're recently Facebook friends. We've connected. So you might see it. But it's the funniest thing. And I I just have to read it because it cracks me up. So first, let me show the photo. And I guess if I talk, it will show up. So
Oh,
and I with our 3 children. And so this little guy here is I call him a shit disturber because he literally hits. But we showed up, and here's what I wrote, the story behind the photo. This photo was taken for a church directory. We lived behind the church, which we still do. It's right up the street. And I don't belong to that church anymore. I'm not Catholic. I changed to non-denominational Christian in 2012. But it was 100 degrees outside. We waited over an hour in the church basement to have our photo taken. Our youngest had thrown a temper tantrum moments before it was our turn. He even knocked over the photographer's lights and equipment. My middle, Matt, was so frightened that he caused the accident. He cried. My oldest spent several minutes trying to console him. My husband and I were arguing about how to handle the situation. The photographer took one look at us and pleaded for us to reschedule. I barked out orders and pulled my youngest on my lap and threatened everyone's life if they didn't sit still and smile.
That's a typical family right there.
I mean, to tell you, that is exactly how my life was with 3 boys.
Mine too, Kathy. Sounded just like an experience that I might have had, and probably did.
Yeah, I mean, I literally remember the photographer like, you guys can go, like, seriously, just we'll reschedule. And I'm like, you don't know what I went through to get this picture taken today. It's happening.
Well, my oldest boy decided when my kids were about 1, 3, and 5 to cut all their hair right before picture day. I mean, it was horrible. I had to put baseball caps on them to go get their picture taken. It was horrific because I'd get them all ready. You know, they were so close in age. And then I try to hurry up and get ready, you know.
Yeah.
And when I was getting ready, that's when he decided to cut their hair.
Oh my God. Why is it that now that we cherish those photos though, and then it meant so much to just be perfect? That's what I would love to encourage young parents and young mothers, that just let them go. My middle child, the school pictures are the best. Like, young moms nowadays get so panicky about a school photo that's for the yearbook or whatever. But yeah, let them be them. Let them be who they are. Let them go. My middle child, his 2nd grade picture is a picture of him in a windbreaker jacket, and it's zipped all the way to the neck. And he's just smiling from ear to ear. And I dressed him up in a nice plaid flannel shirt. I got the gel out and greased his hair perfectly. And he comes home and his picture is his jacket zipped all the way up to his neck. You can't even see the shirt he was wearing.
Yeah, I think that's true. I think you really brought out a good point, Kathy. When your kids are young, I was talking about the potty train and everything. You panic. You really do. You panic. And when you get older, it's like, it's not that big deal. You realize that that's not a big deal, that they're going to grow out of that and it's okay. And, there are a lot of things that I think that's why grandparents are a little wiser, because we have been through it. You don't learn it until you go through it.
I think it's also why Jessica is so easy for me, because I had her when I was 40 and I'd already had 3 boys and they were already grown and kind of independent. I mean, Michael was 10. He's her now when I had Jessie, but I raised her with less stress, with less care of her trying to be the perfect kid or the things she did. So
you were probably a lot better mother too, because you had that age where you learned this, and then all of a sudden, you have this other child, and you've already been through this and this and this.
Oh yeah, yeah. I mean, and like I said, I'm still learning for this girl stage coming up, but most of the moms that Jessie is friends with, that's their first child, and then Jessie has 3 adult brothers. So it is interesting to watch these young moms interact with their daughters now, because I'm so different with Jessie.
Yes.
So it's going to be an interesting next 10 years. That's for sure with Jessie.
Well, I changed diapers for 7 years straight.
Wow. Yeah, I have 4 older brothers. My mom's the same way. We're all 2 years apart, almost exactly 2 years apart, except for my brother closest to me. We're 15 months apart, but there's 6 of us, and the same thing. I just think about my mom. I'm like, oh my gosh, how? And she's the same thing though. And I say for people who have 2 or 3 kids, it's no different. You might as well have 6. I mean, once you've got 3.
I thought that, you know, but it's like when I had the first one and I would go change a diaper, I was nervous and every little crease, and I would take me forever to change a diaper. That, you know, the second one come along, I'm like, boy, this is seems to be a lot quicker, a lot easier. Third one come along, poor Rant Jim, he was like through the, you know, fast there. It was not a problem, you know.
The diaper changing is, you definitely get better and better at it. I took in a young couple a couple weeks ago. They got evicted and they came to my house at midnight and they had a little baby, and the little 1-year-old, and he was squirming and squirming and squirming, and he had dirty diaper, and she was talking to him and trying to get him to calm down. And it was so funny. I said, let me have him. And I put him down on the floor and just, you know, gave him a wet wipe to hold on to and hurried up and did it. She's like, how did you do that?
Bro.
So you get better and better at it. You definitely do.
Angel Domingue is listening while working. So I just want to say hi to Angel Domingue. I love her to death. I wanted to say a quick hello to her. I seen her in the chat. She's at work and she's actually listening to this live stream, Kathy.
Aw, thank you. I just love her to death. She's another one that I feel so connected with. Michelle said the same thing. See Detox. I'm here in spirit. Crazy day at work, and I will be watching to replay for sure. Aw, thank you. Ability Mom of 2, her name is Leah. She says, my son has had 2 black eyes before a picture from falling at the playground and hitting the steps. Oh, you're going to cherish those pictures.
I hope she put a football jersey on him. Hope she put a football jersey on him when she got his picture taken.
Yeah. You know what? Don't stop taking pictures, parents. They are great. We have a group text, my boys now. You know, you said, you know, staying connected with your adult children too. That's the great way about technology too, because you said you and Rant Jams stay connected through your social media. The group texting is fun because now my husband, myself, my 3 boys, and my daughter-in-law and Jessie all have a group text going all the time. So that's fun because we just shared a picture of Jessie, and she's out by the pool, and we just thought it was the cutest thing. She's, you know, she's older and it was her baby face, but it's fun because now the brothers are all sharing photos and like, oh, I remember this and I remember that. And it's just such it's neat to see the boys being adults now, and they have a younger sibling. So that's what's kind of unique about my family. And I'm watching my sons become adults with their younger sisters. So that's
beautiful. And it is a joy. There is every stage that my children have ever went through, there's been a joy in it. There's been a special thing about it. And there is for those mothers out there who their kids are getting ready to go to college and might be, getting in arguments at home, because that's just a natural way of doing things. There's a joy in watching them succeed. There's a joy in watching them, choose, making decisions, choices.
Yeah.
There's a joy in that as well. I mean, so it's kind of nice to sit back and kind of giggle on the side once in a while, Kathy, because I'm sure you do too. I bet I'm not the only one.
Oh, yeah.
Oh, yeah.
Sure. Yeah. This Christmas was hard for me, and it was a part of the letting go process because my son got married and they weren't going to be here for Christmas because her parents live 4 hours away. And so she wanted to be with her family for Christmas. And I was like, you're not going to be here for Christmas? And so that was hard too. When your children get married, you realize that they're going to another family.
Exactly. And especially when it's a son, because usually he will try to please his wife.
Yeah.
So and about that.
Yeah. The one thing that was interesting with me, and I think what helped me let go too, is because my husband did exactly that too. He chose his mother. He wanted to be with his mother. And so I kept saying, what about me? What about me? And I swore I would not be that mother-in-law. So I almost pushed my son away and said, no, you be with your wife as soon as, you know, his wife has the same birthday as me.
Oh, how about that? So
And last year, so he got married in August and my birthday's in March, and I turned 50 and he wasn't married yet. And I told my son, I said, okay, so I'm 50, you know, it's a special birthday. I said, it needs to be about me. I said, but when you're married come August, next March, it's never going to be my birthday ever again. It's your wife's birthday because we have shared the same day. And I'm like, not putting that on me. It is not my birthday ever again. You don't even have to say happy birthday, Mom, because you got to make that day all about your wife.
So he married a girl like his dear old dad.
I told him the same thing with Mother's Day. As soon as you have a baby, it ain't Grandma Day. Because I hated that. I was like, when is it going to be Mother's Day? I've had 3 boys now. Why do we keep got to have to go to Grandma's house? So I told my son, that's me part of, I'm letting you go. As soon as your wife has a baby, you make it all about her Mother's Day, not me. And well, I think it's important that we let our children go when they're ready to go.
Wait a second, Miss Kathy. I got news for you. You're his mother. You will be his mother forever. And Mother's Day is not Wife's Day. It's Mother's Day.
Yeah.
Wife's Day is all the other days.
When his wife becomes a mother, he needs to honor his wife as a mother.
Well, sure, but he still needs to honor you too, because
but he'll do that every day. If you let your kids go, this is a very good topic, and I firmly believe this, and we may disagree here. But the moment you let them go, I'm telling you, it's almost like reverse psychology. They come back twofold.
I do agree with you on that. And I'm very proud that you have that attitude about, there's a saying that says a son is a son. Oh no, a daughter's a daughter all of her life, and a son is a son till he takes a wife.
Yes.
And I think there's a lot of truth to that, but at the same time, it's like, I don't want to control my son's life. I don't ever want to do that, but I want to be included. I want to be a part of it, and I don't want to be pushed out of it. So, there's a happy little medium in there, and it's just like Lowe's girl. She's like a daughter to me. Like I said, I loved her before, and even if her and Scott weren't together, I would still love her just as much. I love her. So we have our own friendship, personal connection that really has nothing to do with my son. But the fact that my son got added into it, it kind of makes it even closer and even more special. Yeah. So that's a different kind of situation there. It's, it's different than when they bring home a girl and say, oh, Mom, this is so-and-so, I'm going to marry her. And then you learn to know her through your son. I think it's kind of different. It's just a little bit different.
Yeah. Yeah. And I can't attest to that because I can't experience that. But I'm trying, though, not to be my daughter-in-law's friend. I'm trying to be her mother-in-law.
Well, I don't know. All my boys, we have a friendship. Me and Corey were friends. And most of I had to play the mother role, but sometimes I played the friendship role. And so we kind of had a couple different things going on. And I like to think that me and Rant Jams can be friends as well, and talk as two adults exchanging ideas freely. I want him to freely express, even if it doesn't agree with what I agree with. And I want him to listen and let me freely express, as friends do, because it's an adult relationship. So it's a different kind of thing. And I think that that's a very special time as well. It's like you don't have to let go of being a part of your children's life, because they're not your they're still your children, but they're adults. And so that relationship blossoms and blooms just like anything, when you first get married, how 20 years later, it's a lot different than it was when you first got married. And hopefully you're more in love 20 years later than you were when you got married.
Yeah. I don't know. I'm still not my parents' friends, though. I'll have to disagree with you on that, because it's like a respect thing. I can't imagine like my mom or my dad being my friend. I go shopping with my mom and I hang out with her, but I still have that I still have her up above me. So like a friend is equal. And for a parent, I still think the parent needs to be in an authoritative state or a respected state.
Oh,
And
I agree. I played that trump card when I have.
with them.
I play that trump card when I have to. Let's put it that way. I try to be a friend, but if I have to play the trump card, I will, but I don't want to.
Yeah, but see, I would think that that's where it would hinder. But I don't know. I mean, I don't know. It's like a different, we see it differently. I think that if I were a friend and I had to throw the trump card, I wouldn't want to have to do that. So I would think that that would hurt the friendship.
Well, you know, I think it's an individual thing. You know, my relationship with Scott is a lot different than my relationship with Travis. Do I love them just as much? Yes, I do, but they're two different people. So I try to, just like anybody, you know, I might have 10 friends and I'm going to relate to each friend accordingly. You know what I mean? Like if this, okay, say this friend is not comfortable talking about God. Well, I'm not going to sit there and talk about God. But if I have another friend that just loves to talk about God, well, I'll talk about it. So, you know, I try to reach again on the common places, you know, with any relationship, whether it's your children, whether it's your husband, friendship, whatever, family, mother, father. But, you know, I do believe that you should always respect your parents. And I do believe in giving them that honor. And I believe that's, you know, biblical. I definitely believe in that. So, you know, if my kids is not going to honor me or give me that respect, then I'm going to respect myself enough to step back.
Yeah, exactly. Yeah, I can agree with that. We have some more people that just popped in. Lori Johnson says hi. WrestleMania is doing on a quick work break. Thank you for coming and saying hi. And ATJH Travels is here listening while on break. Awesome stream, friends. Sledgehammer that like button and sharing on Twitter. Thank you. Lori says, make up your mind. Is his name Rant Jams or is it Scott? LOL.
That depends on what mood he's in.
Yeah, so if you're listening now, the Rant Jams is the YouTube channel name, and his name is Scott. WrestleMania got back from the Baltimore Inner Harbor YouTube creator meetup last night. It was awesome. Got lots of footage. Okay, I'll have to check that out. I'm not familiar with the Baltimore Inner Harbor YouTube creator meetup. I imagine there was a meetup in Baltimore with some other creators. So that's really cool. I can't wait to see that WrestleMania. Thank you for mentioning that. Malta McCurchy, hi, saying hello. And Wrestler saying hi to Gemma. Well, Donna, I don't know how long we've gone because the time has flown. I've had so much fun, but I do try to keep these in an hour. So I think we did go over.
And it's not enough. We're going to have to be continued on this subject. This has been great.
Well, I would love to have you back again. And anytime that if I put up a topic that interests you and you have, you know, beef, anyone in the chat, the same thing. I put it in the description box that I welcome positive dialogue. I welcome anyone else who wants to join the panel. So, you know, it doesn't have to just be a one-on-one kind of thing. I just try to stay on topic. I try to have encouragement and inspiration along the way. So if in the future, Donna, you are always welcome back. Anyone in the chat as well. I love the real talk. I love having people here and I love to interact. And today has been no different. I've thoroughly enjoyed our conversation.
Oh, it's been wonderful. Thank you so much for having me. It's been an honor to be here. And you really attract some amazing people. Even though it might not seem like it, I've been reading the chat, but we've been talking too, and I'll probably watch it back and make sure I don't miss anything anybody had to say. But
I've been doing that too afterwards. I'm having to go back and read the chat later because I'm not doing a great job of keeping them both.
Well, I think you can't. I think if you concentrate too much on just the chat, you're not going to have your show the way you want to have it.
Yeah.
You know?
Yeah, I do want to have the dialogue flow. So
yes,
that's important to me.
Yes.
Well, thank you very much. And please, let's connect privately about the book.
Yeah, send me an email. You have my email address, right? Send me a regular email so I can send you that file. And thank you for you know, offering to help edit. As smart as you are, that would be a blessing.
Well, I will do my best, but I guarantee you I will read. I love to read. I'm a speed reader too, so it shouldn't take me too long to get through it, but I'll go through slowly and let you know if you have any grammar. I am a grammar police, sorry.
Thank you. That's what I need. And I wrote in great big letters because I'm half blind. So it should be, and it's easy reading because I'm not that complicated.
How many pages is it? Well, I guess it's hard to tell the way it's typed, so.
Is it about 76 or 77 stories in it?
Oh, well, wonderful. I look forward to it. Yes, I'm willing to help out as much as I can.
Thank you, Miss Kathy. Thank you for having me, and God bless you. And like I said, I pray and wish the best success for you and your channel and what you're doing here.
Oh, thank you. I already feel successful. It's been a blessing to have it and to have people come and talk with me. I love it.
Thank you so much.
Yeah, if you want to hold on real quick, I'll chat with you after. I'm just going to end the stream.
Sure, I will.
Thank you, everyone, for coming.